It's the 2000s. Hollywood has another chokehold for the celebrity culture, and then we demand relatability. So influencers come along to play the part. They are the celebrities, they are the inspiration, they are our vision boards, our wish lists, they are our watch lists, and we are called the fans. We are mere mortals, as some would say actually. So they are idols, and we don't seem to see anything wrong with that. Whether it's old Hollywood actors, the socialites like the Kardashians, very talented singer-songwriters, rack to riches stories, your favorite podcast or your favorite TikTok or whatever it is, they all have something in common. They are eye grabbers, extremely attractive or talented or charismatic or very influential. Basically, they're good at speaking, or they're good at the way they move, or the way they dance, or the way they dress. They have something that you also want to have, but you either don't have it yet, or you don't think you can have it. So you end up following every move, everything that they do, and you use that as fuel because you think that's what's gonna fuel you into your goals. But is it true? Or is it an excuse we fabricate in our heads to justify the constant obsession? Are we addicted to parasocial human relationships? When we have idols, we are focusing and worshipping anything that is not God. We are putting our trust and our faith in anything outside of Him. We are replacing devotion to Him for devotion and trust in something else. And that can be either something physical, material, or a concept. As one could read, idolatry extends beyond the worship of physical idols to include any form of covetousness or misplaced devotion. It represents a misplacement of trust and allegiance, often leading individuals away from the truth and into spiritual bondage. And if you take a close look at your life, there might be signs you've started to worshiping and creating some idols of your own. You're just not noticing. There can be many examples of this, and today we're going to focus on the ones that are made of flesh and blood. We've always idolized money and power. That hasn't changed much, that's true. But if you notice, there's so many more things that we idolize these days. Think about beauty, power, entertainment, knowledge, information, self-image, career, status, anything that goes around these things that might be hindering your routines. Even relationships, technology, and morality. All of this can be turned into idols. More specifically, you can actually, through them, create your own molten calf by going to it every time you need reassurance, you need hope, or you need answers. A perfect example of this is our new obsession with information. All this new wave of journalism, independent journalism, the commentary channels on YouTube, and just in general in any social media platform. These creators are not public figures. They're recognized in the world. They're quote-unquote famous, and they pretty much came alive due to our need of new information, due to our need of different ways of finding the truth, because just the mainstream media was not satisfying us. So there is a reason for them emerging, but now they actually have a presence. They have influence in the political and social movement world. They carry the torch of the new media. They have influence. They have power and a voice, a loud voice among all of the other presences that already existed, all of the other journalists, so they can actually make a difference, and we have given them the platform, that voice. And this, independently of how many false agreements there are under the table, how many paid gigs they might have, how many issues with moral they might have, and we follow on every step. We want to know what they eat, how they eat, what's their lifestyle, what's their exercise routine. We want to know where they live and how many kids they have and how is their family. We want to know how they dress, and especially we want to know how they think. We pretty much go for them for every opinion on every topic there is. What we used to rely on our neighbors and close friends for, we are now extending to complete strangers on the internet because they have a so-called platform. From the Joe Rogans to the Alex Coopers, from the Nara Smiths to the Hassan, from the Destinies to Megyn Kellys of this world, there's a clear division in their supporters. So their fan base, their people that are the cult followers, they're creating this huge division between them, even defending them on comment sections. both from the left and the right. This is becoming more and more pervasive. We went from not trusting the news to putting all our hopes in podcasting. And again, nothing to be ashamed or to blame here. As I said, there was a perfectly good reason for this to happen, but it does not stop being quite ironic. What we can no longer ignore is the idolatry, the blind faith we have in these presenters. They are doing their job. They're just putting on a show, honestly, and they are paid to have these sensationalist, sometimes even extreme views on certain topics, and we just keep eating it up. We don't ask so many questions anymore. We want more. We want every take on every issue alive. We turn on notifications and we wait for the next comment in the next episode to come out, as if we were waiting for the next show on Netflix. And this is where we reach peak idolatry. And yes, of course, this rise is intrinsically justifiable by what I just said. There is this continuous and growing mistrust on the system, most specifically on our government. We want to find new ways of finding out the truth, and that means independent journalism. That means putting our trust in people that are supposedly unbiased and they can do their own research and deliver us the best information on the topics that we're into. This is why the YouTube channels are filled with conspiracy theories, the commentary sections, and all of that niche part of the social media is growing rapidly every day. We need alternative information, and we still are looking for that other person that's going to deliver that in a clear, moral way. But this is where we find the consequences of it all. I believe that we are putting way too much trust in these people, and no shade to them, they are only human. And I think this is what we keep repeating in regards to the socialites and the Hollywood world that was so powerful in the 2000s. We wanted to know what every one of them was having, was doing, what they could afford, how they lived, until something in our brains happened, something in the culture happened, and we, as I said, we wanted something that was more relatable. We wanted something that was more like our friend, like our neighbor, like our family member. And these people came along and they delivered us information. They delivered questions above all else, and some of them with certain expertise in either investigation or just a true passion or a trade that they're really good at or they've done for years. We started putting too much trust in these people to reply or to answer all of our questions. The thing is, just like I said, they are human, so inherently they're flawed. They're gonna have bias, they're gonna have like a personal investment or attachment to a certain side of the coin, and I think we should have a more balanced take on following their own opinions, meaning we cannot just copy paste their own opinions because we trust them. It's good that we trust them, but we should develop our own opinions by investigating contrary information or simply by doing our own research before we reach for that so-called influencer, the podcaster, or the TikToker that you really like. Above all else, good intentions will not be enough. Good intentions will fail us because people will fail us because people are not the way. He is the way, and he is the only way. So my advice here is, besides what I just said about just trying to grasp your own take on things first and foremost before you reach for more information, we should start putting our God first. We should start putting the search for truth from ourselves first, and then we can take on information. Just like the classic, do not wake up and go straight to your phone. Do your morning routine, whether that is 5 minutes on a treadmill or 5 minutes on your Bible or 1 hour, whatever you have time for. It just allows your brain to really start, but also to purge. There's a huge purge that happens in the morning or at the end of the day. I believe in my experience, and that comes with all of the thoughts that you've been ruminating for weeks sometimes, and those thoughts need to kind of unload. You need them out of your system first, and if you're going to feed your system already with new information on top of that, you will not be able to, at some point, to distinguish what's yours and what was that person's thought or opinion. And then you have to multiply this by the tens of the dozens, because all of these people on social media have different opinions, but then you have your friends and your family and your spouse. They will also have their own opinions, and this is just too too much information, I believe, for our brains to properly take in, digest, and compile. So yeah, I think this would be my final thoughts. Just make sure you're separating your admiration for someone's work and expertise and trade from truth, from your own self opinion. Just because you respect someone's work doesn't mean you have to agree with them on everything. Just like we have disagreements with our closest friends and family. And also, just because you don't agree with someone, that should not mean that you stop taking into consideration their thoughts, right? So that goes for people closer to you in your life, but also goes for the journalist or the politician that sometimes might have a controversial take on something controversial to you. Like, you might not enjoy it, but that does not discard everything else that they've said and done that you actually agree with. So just again, a grain of salt, context matters, and we should replicate that also for our life on the internet, I guess. So these were just like my few thoughts. This is a much shorter video. I hope this slide was not too bothersome. It was really great today, and I tried to make the best out of it. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next video. I'm preparing something really interesting, and just let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about admiration, but above all else, about creating idols? Do you follow the Bible? Do you have an idea of what idols are in your daily world versus what says in the Bible? Do you believe that God would be happy with the way you're navigating your internet friends and buddies and the people that you admire there? This is Monica Martini with another video. See you in the next one. Bye!